How do you know when you need to adjust your tensions on the BERNINA L890 serger? I'm going to show you a couple different ways to let the machine first, what you should have things set up as, and also a really cool feature called Stitch Optimizer, where you can actually tell the machine what your problem is or what it's looking like, and then it will tell you what you can adjust. So if your picture looks like one of these, you can touch it and then it will have you increase or decrease the tensions. So you are given a nice colorful diagram of how things are supposed to look. Now remember at the beginning we talked about having all your tensions color-coded, then that way you can get familiar with which one the yellow is, which one the red one is, and so forth. So as you're stitching out, and believe me, you could stitch pillowcases, a lot of colorful fabrics with this combination of thread. So don't feel like just because you have these different colors on, you can't actually use them for something. You don't always have to match. But when you need to adjust, number one, first, before you do anything, if you have some weird loopy things going on, double check that your threads are fully seated in the tension disc. Now what you can do is even just take your thread and kind of floss it back and forth, making sure that it's nice and tight and all the way in. If you did it correctly, you threaded your machine with your presser foot up. That meant all the tension discs were open when you started to thread. If it was down, well, maybe that thread didn't get all the way down where it needed to be. So just make sure, and that's one of the first steps when it's guiding you how to thread the machine, is to lift your presser foot up before you start. Next, another thing you can do, let's just say you need to make some adjustments. By touching any one of these colorful blocks that start in the 4 thread overlock, they have numbers associated with them. As you turn them, you can kind of hear it. You can hear them go tighter or higher or looser, and whatever those numbers are, that's what they're going to be adjusted to. To get them all back to normal, anything with a yellow box that you touch in this machine, this works on all the screens, if you touch the yellow box, it will go back to the default setting, so you don't have to try to find that at any given time. So that's the manual way to adjust the tensions. The other thing that you can do is when you go to the home button is use the built-in Creative Consultant. That's the one with the dress form. And with that, you can tell the machine which fabric you're working with. Touch the question mark if you're unfamiliar with what those little symbols are referring to. You can see like this one's like a toweling fabric, or this one is a heavy knit. And once you've selected the fabric you're using, you can pick the technique, and then it will guide you to how to set up your machine. So, and if you need to reduce or add anything, let's do the check mark. So it has told us what threads we should be using, and by the yellow number, that has actually changed for me. So that's actually a great thing to use. One more way this machine is going to help you become an expert and kind of eliminate all the wondering, like how do I adjust my tensions? There's multiple ways to go through the machine and have it just be done. I think that's why people love this machine. They don't realize it when they're like standing in the store buying it, like how much they're going to fall in love with this, but when they get home and start using it. So if you've had an opportunity to use this in a class before you bought it, you have already realized how cool it is. But if you are just now realizing how much is built in, you just went ahead and splurged on this machine, I think you're seeing why you're going to love using this serger on every project, because it will walk you through step by step how to set it up, what tensions to adjust, and how to adjust them. And then remember, go to that Stitch Optimizer for additional help, like find out if it's looking where the threads are a little loopy on the needles, touch it, and then it will have you adjust those 2 items specifically for correcting that problem. So I hope you're exploring all the corners of this machine. We've got links right down here where you can start from the beginning of this entire playlist and join me as we walk you through all the ins and outs of every part of this beautiful BERNINA L890 serger.